What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about the news of Xpeng releasing their new navigation pilot system, or their new autonomous driving system, later this month. But we're also going to compare that to Nio system and Tesla system and how they compare, which one's better, and just how they compete overall. But before we do, we ask that you guys hit that sub button. We're trying to hit 300 subs by the end of the month. Let's see if we can do that. We appreciate all the support so far. We're almost there, but let's go ahead and hop into it. So as we said in the beginning of the video, Xpeng announced that they're going to be releasing their navigation guided pilot, or their NGP. It pretty much, it's just like an updated autonomous driving. It allows them to do things such as like automatic lane change on the highway. It allows them to pass. It allows them to get on and off exits relatively easy without the user having to do anything. Xpeng came out and said that this is going to be for their P7 sedan, which, by the way, man, this thing is sharp. That P7 sedan looks just as good as Nio's upcoming sedan, if not better looking. They're really good looking cars. But it's going to be for that P7 sedan, and they said that the users of the car will be able to download it via Wi-Fi, and it'll just be available when Xpeng pushes that update later this month. But again, this is a part of they call it the X Pilot 3.0. But more features included in this update are basically it auto adjusts the speed limit. We said before that they get on and off the highway, exits by themselves. And they also optimize lane choices. So it's going to see and basically move the car into the proper lane where, I guess, what is best for that car and the speed at the time. So if there's a car coming up that you're coming up to and it's moving slower, the car will automatically get over to the left or to the right to avoid, obviously hitting the car. But I think that, that's pretty neat to see stuff like that coming along, where it's almost to the point where, you don't need the driver anymore. You could just sit in the passenger seat and just cruise away. I mean, we're not there yet, but we're getting there. But right now, so Xpeng has going for them that they're the only car in mass production with 360 cameras. So I feel like that's good for them to kind of stand out from the crowd right now. I do also feel that Nio, and with Tesla, making way over there, I don't feel like that's going to be a thing for long. But right now, I definitely think that's kind of like a benefit for them, as a car company.
So yeah, Nio was actually the second automaker to achieve this kind of autonomous driving on the highway behind Tesla. They've released their update for all their highway driving last September. Xpeng's kind of playing catch up a little bit, but they're pretty much doing the exact same thing. Nio's has the exact same features, like, gets on and off the highway by itself. It'll speed up, slow down. It'll pass people. If you're coming up on someone that's going slower, it'll automatically change lanes, and it automatically puts on turn signals and everything. So right. It seems like what Nio and Xpeng offer, it's pretty much the same thing, which, I mean, what else are you going to really do anyway? So
right, you would think most of these smart cars are going to come down to the same features. Like, right. I think you think of just gasoline cars. They all do the same thing. They all drive the same. All of them have mostly the same features: backup cameras, manual or automatic, heated windows, seats, all that good stuff. It's just a matter of like, which one do you like more?
Right.
Which car do you prefer to have? And I feel like that's what it's going to come down to eventually. But it's just a matter of getting there first.
Yeah. So it's kind of big news that Xpeng released this, because there for the longest time it was only Nio out of the three big Chinese EV makers. Nio was the only one that had like any kind of autonomous driving. So right. It's pretty big news that this came out for Xpeng, because now Nio's not the only one.
Right, exactly. And with comparing that to Tesla now, because considering Tesla's like the biggest of all of them, we look at their autopilot website on Tesla.com. You can kind of see, like, it goes over, they have the 360-degree camera too, but their autonomous driving, I don't want to say it's autonomous, because some features still require the driver. Like we were talking before stream, like if you wanted to change lanes, that you needed to use the turn signal, like you would have to manually turn the turn signal in order for it to actually switch lanes.
Right.
So there's still some things that they need to work on, and like it even says that current autopilot features require active driver supervision and do not make the vehicle autonomous. The Tesla has their smart summon, which draws the car to you when you call it through the app. They also have the auto park feature, so some things the car can do itself. But watching or reading stuff about Nio and Xpeng and seeing where they're going with their autonomous driving, like we look at Tesla's autonomous driving, you think of it like, so in this video, it says that the driver is just in a car for legal reasons, like they weren't needed. But watching this drive, it 100% does exactly what you would expect it to do.
Right, and this is where I think Tesla's ahead of Nio and Xpeng, because Nio and Xpeng is only for highways. But as you can see in this video, it's just going down random roads.
Right.
So.
Right. And I was watching this earlier, and it's still in beta mode. A lot of their autonomous stuff is still in beta mode. So there's a lot of testing and tweaks that need to be, fixed out. But I was watching it come up to like stop signs and other cars, and it seems almost as like the car stops before it gets to the car or the stop sign in front of it, and then it kind of slowly creeps up. I've never driven a Tesla. I don't know if that's still a thing, but I feel like things like that will just get better as the car just produces, as they get farther and farther along with technology, and their radar and all of that stuff just gets better. So
yep. I mean, you got to think how much goes into making this. Like there's gonna be lots of revisions to it.
Oh, 100%, 100%. But looking at the stocks now themselves, just kind of comparing all of them. So Nio and Xpeng are obviously two really close competitors, and seeing the prices, they're fairly well priced evenly. And we did a review on like all three of them a couple days ago. We'll link that in the description. But to be honest, like XPEV had the lowest amount of sales out of Li and Nio. So for it to be priced like this, I'm not quite sure that it should be this high to compete with
right.
Nio, considering their Nio's numbers are a lot higher. So with this news coming out about Xpeng, it drove the stock up a little bit to 56.38, and it kind of pulled back. Now we're back down to about 54. So that's good news that there's still things driving these stocks. I still feel like the EV market is still hot. I feel like it's kind of simmered off just a little bit. It's not as hot as what it was. But I would say probably within the next 2 weeks, I don't really see this one moving a whole lot. I wouldn't say maybe $56 to $58 within the next like 2 weeks, by the end of January.
Yeah, a lot of times it just follows kind of what Nio does. Like it goes
right.
up and down the same amount Nio does. So, yeah.
Looking at the Nio stock, again, this one has just been so up and down the last couple days. Just looking at the last 5 days, it drove up to 64, and then it kind of fell back down. With this one, I'm still sticking around, end of January. I think I want to say this one's probably going to be in that $60 to $63 range is where I'm going to put Nio by the end of January. We have Tesla coming out, with their earnings tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow
after hours.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping that pushes the EV market in general and kind of just gives everything like a little boost. But we'll see what happens there. Where do you think you see this one in 2 weeks? You agree with that, or you think higher or lower?
I was going to say low 60s. It's, for whatever reason, it's liking to sit around this 59 range, but I think
right.
it'll break out of that. And
right.
The next spot it'll hang out is probably low 60 somewhere, 63.
Right.
60, so.
I feel like it's a good support line, though. We've been hanging around this $59, $60 mark for the last couple days. I definitely feel like it's a good support line.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens and see if we can push past it and move on to new highs.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the last month, I think it's up like 30. Let me make sure I got this right. I think it's up like 35% in the last month. Yeah, 35.25% in the last month. So you can't really complain, that it's kind of just hanging out for a little bit. That's what.
Right.
I see this with Tesla. It happens a lot too, where it'll jump up crazy in a couple days, and then it just sits there and does nothing for like a week, and then it'll jump another 20%. So it seems like Nio's kind of starting to follow that. So, I mean,
right. And I mean, we look at Tesla now, and you know, from the morning market, it opened up towards the $900 mark. And again, it's got that price target there of 900, and it fell back down to 871. But now we're pushing up towards that 890 again. So I'm definitely feeling strong on this one. Again, we released a video this morning actually about the Nancy Pelosi buying into that and all of that, pushing the stock up a little bit. And I definitely feel that like their earnings, the EPS just keeps climbing. So I feel like their earnings are hopefully going to be solid. I mean, it just keeps raising. So I'm feeling like it's going to be solid. And if it is, I feel like this is going to push us well above that $900 mark.
Yeah, I think tomorrow. Yeah, I think tomorrow we might be above 900 if people just keep piling into the stock, you know, prior to earnings, which happens all the time. So.
Right.
It doesn't have to go up much to go up another $10. Like you can see right now, it's up 1%, and it's, you know, almost $10. So I could see that. I could see us getting back to 900 tomorrow.
I hope so.
I hope so.
But that wraps up this video. If you guys like this kind of content, hit that like, share, notification bell, all that good stuff. Let us know what you guys think about these 3 stocks in the comments. Which one is your favorite? Do you guys have a favorite? Are you even into any of them? You guys may not be into the EV market at all. Just let us know in the comments what you think. And yeah, we appreciate you guys hanging out. And again, thank you so much for the support. We'll see you guys in the next video.